Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
The former fire chief in Ann Arbor accused of raiding a fund meant for families in need.
This may look like the latest new smartwatch, but it's hiding something parents and schools need to know.
Police dash cam and body cam captured dangerous moments in a Roseville driveway. Glad you're with us today on this Friday for Local 4 News at 6. It started with a domestic dispute that could have turned deadly.
When Roseville police got to the home on Masonic near Kelly, they saw a man in the driveway with a gun. Standing just 3 feet away, the man pointed that weapon directly at officers. Let's get to Priya Mann. She's in Roseville. And Priya, that's when police opened fire.
And Kimberly, they didn't hit anyone. The suspect didn't fire either. But here's what he did do. He tosses the weapon at police, then he runs back to the home where a scared family, including a little baby, is hiding inside. Dashcam video captured Sanaj King holding a gun. Standing just a few feet from an officer, what happens next is terrifying. Fearing for their lives, 2 Roseville cops opened fire. No one was hit, and King throws the gun into the air before running back toward the home. Unsure if he still has a weapon, body cam video shows police carefully approaching the side door.
Don't do it, man! Don't do it! Come on out, come on out.
You don't have a gun. Lay down, please lay down.
Get down.
As King's ex-girlfriend urges him to lie down and surrender, police are able to get him in cuffs.
He's grabbing a gun with obvious intentions the way he pointed it at the officer. Had the police not gotten there on time, who knows what would have happened in that house.
Police were called to the Roseville home after the family said King was drunk and had broken a kitchen window trying to get inside. When officers pulled up, King's ex, their small child, and the woman's parents were hiding as he got a gun from the car.
Think about yourself in that situation. The gun is pointed at you. No one in the house was injured. None of the officers were injured. And even the idiot with the gun was not injured. And that's a testament to the police.
Now, those 2 officers involved have been placed on administrative leave, which is standard in cases like this. And as for that 26-year-old Detroit man, he remains behind bars, charged with multiple felonies. Reporting live from Roseville, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
Now, Priya, in the dash cam video, you can kind of see a woman standing in the driveway. Just curious, who is she?
She's actually the suspect's sister, and prosecutors say she had no idea what he was up to. She has not been charged. Of course, police are still investigating.
Glad nobody got hurt. My goodness. Okay, Priya, thanks.
The Ann Arbor Fire Department appears to have fallen victim to embezzlement, and the man accused is the former chief. Sean Lay reports the most disturbing part of the story may involve which money went missing. Sean?
Good evening from Ann Arbor. This is a big deal, and here's why. Police officers here and firefighters, every time they receive a paycheck, they kick in a contribution to a fund. And when a police officer and firefighter dies, their family is cut a check immediately to help with funeral expenses. Now, a former fire chief here in Ann Arbor is accused of dipping into that fund for himself. No answer at the Westland home of former Ann Arbor Fire Chief Hollis Chuck Hubbard. Hubbard was Ann Arbor's chief from 2011 until he retired in 2014.
The entire complex is burned up.
This is the chief speaking with Local 4 at a past fire scene. Tonight, Hubbard is out on bond, charged with a felony that prosecutors say took place while Hubbard was chief back in 2013. Hubbard is charged with 1 count of embezzlement involving the Ann Arbor Police and Fire Benefit Fund. That is a deeply personal fund to every uniformed police officer and firefighter in Ann Arbor. With every paycheck, officers and firefighters make a contribution to the fund. When an active duty or retired police officer or firefighter passes away, police and fire take great pride in handing a check immediately to the surviving family to help them cover funeral costs and other expenses they suddenly face. Local 4's learned that during his time as chief, Hollis Hubbard had full control over that fund. How much money is missing? Michigan State Police investigators are still looking into that key question. Former Chief Hubbard goes back to court a little later this month. He's facing a felony. The official charge is called embezzlement as an agent or trustee over a fund worth $1,000 to $20,000. Kimberly Devon, we reached out to his attorney. We did not hear back from him. Back to you.
We're hearing anything from the fire department then?
Yes, talked to the chief today over the phone. He didn't want to comment about the case. He did want to point out that no chief or administrator is now over that fund. Rank and file members control it exclusively.
All right, Sean.
A major warning from the CDC about the dangers of vaping. A multi-state investigation is underway amid a surge of vaping-related lung illnesses. The CDC is reporting more than 450 cases of lung illnesses across 33 states, including 4 deaths. They believe a chemical in e-cigarettes may be to blame. In the meantime, the CDC is asking anyone who vapes to stop or at least monitor themselves for signs of respiratory illness. With each new report on these health dangers, schools are feeling more responsibility to try to stop students from vaping. Technology is making that difficult as vaping devices are often disguised as other gadgets. Coco McAvoy shows us what one district in Macomb County is doing to try to stay ahead of the game.
We're inside of a meeting for Chippewa Valley schools where staff members are strategizing. They're trying to come up with ways to stay one step ahead of the vaping issue.
The most immediate need is to get this out.
It's the monthly meeting for the Chippewa Valley Coalition for Youth and Families, and the topic on the agenda is vaping.
I think a lot of parents are asking for, what am I looking for?
Because there are so many new devices enticing young students, like a vaping watch that's cheap to buy online. The coalition is warning parents and teachers about it immediately.
We have intensified the prevention information on both vaping and marijuana for young students, for 5th graders.
The coalition is constantly sending preventative information to parents, staff, the community, and their students.
We're educating the total child, and we need healthy kids in our classrooms. And I think right now there's so many unknowns about vaping that we need to inform our community about this.
Students are involved in the effort too. Many in the district are a part of the Coalition Teen Council.
We hang up signs in the bathroom, we hang them up in classrooms, telling people not to vape and the dangers of it.
They also talk to other kids about vaping.
A lot of times we're not going to reach out to the high school students, but when we get to the middle school and elementary school students, that's setting them up on the right path.
The district is utilizing all of its resources to make sure students and parents are armed with knowledge about vaping. In Clinton Township, I'm Coco McAvoy, Local 4.
Okay, Coco, and we did reach out to the company that makes and sells the vape watches for comment. We've yet to hear back.
Now let's update a story we first brought you on Monday, back on Labor Day. 2 men have been arrested in connection with a carjacking and a deadly shooting at a Taco Bell in Warren. We're told 23-year-old Danny Richards was shot and killed by 2 men who said they were going to sell Richards and a friend some marijuana. Deontay Rice and Anthony Walker allegedly then stole the car driver's Rolex and took one of them took the car to Detroit and burned it. Both now charged with several felonies.
A former information technology consultant for Attorney General Dana Nessel is being sued for alleged extortion. Dmitry Movsian worked for Nessel's office for only a few months. He's accused of using his position, though, at the AG's office to demand almost $10,000 from the owner of Executive Car Rental. The Attorney General is looking into that company after receiving many complaints against it. Movsian has denied the allegations. Nessel's office released a statement saying it's deeply concerned over the allegations.
Big news and kind of throwback news for fans of the silver screen in Southeast Michigan. Monroe is going to be getting a new drive-in theater.
How about this? The state's largest drive-in movie screen is planned for the Mall of Monroe. We're told it'll also be the first digitally projected drive-in movie screen. If the plans are approved, the drive-in should open in the spring.